So now they decide to use the,
Oh my God.
like, why? Why is now when you want to weed whack stuff and blow? Oh wait, maybe that's somebody's little moped thing. Never mind.
Because the electric ones are blowing up and catching fire. But either way, I came across this video, and it was trying to explain all the reasons why you wouldn't want to move to Florida. And one of the main reasons, well, I guess to clarify, the reasons why you wouldn't want to move to Florida, and specifically Tampa, Florida,
Well, I know why not Tampa.
were from a real estate agent's perspective to inform potential, transplants, people relocating, of everything, basically. And odds are, if you're searching, like if we had to move somewhere that we're not familiar with, you're probably going to look up to find all the reasons why people don't like living there.
Yeah.
So that would be the best way of gaining the attention of the masses, potentially pointing out some of the reasons why some people may not want to live there, but also highlighting why they would.
Yeah.
So, for instance, all the reasons why you wouldn't want to become a YouTuber, or all the reasons why you wouldn't want to start a YouTube channel. And it's actually an interesting one. And in doing that, you will highlight all the cons, but also introduce the pros. So let's just say reasons why you wouldn't want to go to college.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And it's more classes.
Whose Wi-Fi am I on? Let's switch Wi-Fi. So, but in order to get the degree and have the ability to get the job or whatever job it is that you want, then you would have to go through that. The con to get the pro. So let's see, reasons why you wouldn't want to become a YouTuber. So with this being said, obviously we're not in Florida right now. But I don't think it only applies to Florida, because one of the main reasons was the price.
Oh, yeah. That's why you wouldn't want to go to California or New York or Colorado or specific cities inside certain states, or even little sub-cities in big cities.
It wasn't just the price. It was the change in price. It was the average median home price almost doubled.
Oh, yeah. Because of over the last couple of years, more people moved to Florida. And so Florida's like, oh, everybody's coming here. Hike up the prices. They're going to pay for it because they want to be here.
But no different than Georgia. Our first house is almost double.
Yeah. Nothing's changed about it. It's still the same house.
So it's not just Florida. It's not just Tampa. And this is a conversation that you'd have to have for anywhere. But the pro is, okay, reasons why you wouldn't want to move to Florida. 3 years ago, you could have got the same house for half as much money. Today, it costs more. Maybe your income hasn't increased as much, but you're now closer to Disney. You're now closer to
the beach.
You're now in a much warmer climate.
Yeah.
You don't have any state income tax. I got to tell you the negative to be fair, to be transparent. Last thing I would want to do is be a real estate agent convincing people or maybe assisting people to make the move, only for them to realize, hey, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
You can't only give the positive. You have to be realistic about everything.
So, basic outline here. Why would you not want to be a YouTuber? Privacy concerns, online harassment and trolling, income instability, the time and the effort, pressure to maintain consistency and growth, public scrutiny and criticism, creative limitations, impact on mental health, technical skills requirement, and the market saturation, all of which we can discuss further, but not in this video. And if you guys want the inside, behind the scenes, tell all, then make sure you jump over on Patreon. Because as the most successful content creator here, you have the most experience with
True.
all of this.
Yeah.
And I would say that the income instability, that one is probably the least of anyone's concern, because odds are, if you're asking the question, you already have income. So before you take that leap and that plunge to make YouTube your full-time income, don't, because you already have stability in income. We're just using YouTube as a means to create side hustle, additional diverse income. The other thing is recording in midday facing the sun. Terrible
Very bright for me.
side effect of YouTube.
Yeah.
But in order to have the best lighting, we have to face the sun. Otherwise, I did a video with the sun in my back one time, and it did not go over well.
People lost their minds.
It did not go over well.
No.
But either way, I got some stories here we're going to
We could
talk
have
about.
attempted the sun to our side.
Yeah, but the way you and I work,
Yeah.
one of us would be seen and one of us would not.
That's why you look amazing, and
Oh, I'm winning now?
I blend into the fence.
I thought we're equal here.
You're still winning.
I think we should Thompson water seal the fence.
I think so too. Just clear.
Number one here, Florida residents flee state as insurance premiums skyrocket up to 900%.
Yeah, that's a massive jump.
Article
But
summary.
inflation's only 2%. Don't forget.
Yeah, just they don't include housing, I guess.
Nothing.
Which if they did, it's
They don't
like
include anything
it's like-
important.
it's
Energy,
like-
electricity,
but they would
food, housing.
They would look at it and say they would do that. They would play with the numbers, with the math, and be like, well, insurance went up so much, but it's only a small portion in comparison to the home value.
So what are they actually what are they actually base the CPI on if it's not on anything that actually matters?
Exactly. They base it on what they can base it on, that allows them to do what they want to do to manipulate interest rates and the Fed rate, but also not completely destroy the psyche and the overall emotional opinion of society. Because if they knew the truth, then
You can't handle the truth.
if they really knew the truth, it would be chaos.
Yeah.
So a quick summary. The situation in Florida regarding insurance premiums is causing significant distress among residents. The state, known for its sunny appeal and high demand for housing, especially during the pandemic, is experiencing a surge in insurance costs. This increase is leading many to drop their insurance, contemplate selling their homes, or even consider moving out of the state.
You know what's crazy to me? That there's such a surge in insurance costs given how many people are moving to the state. You'd think it would make it more affordable for insurance when you have more people sharing the cost of it, if you will.
Maybe they're looking at this as a prime opportunity, okay? Because if you have a home, you already have an insurance policy. There's very little they can do until it's time to renew. But if you're thinking of relocating, then you're going to be hit with this sticker shock from the beginning. It's going to introduce a new norm.
Yeah.
It's going to introduce a new norm. And it's like, well, this is the cheapest my insurance has ever been in Florida because I've never lived in Florida before, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
Good point.
In 2022, Florida was the top destination for people moving within the U.S., but it also had the highest number of residents wanting to relocate. The U.S. Census Bureau reported that around 275,666 people left Florida that year, relocating mainly to Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Texas. Factors driving the exodus include not only the rising cost of living and high property taxes, but also the increased risk of extreme weather events and the country's highest home insurance premiums.
Well, what they're also not telling you is that a lot of people wanted to move because so many people moved in. You have to think about it. You move to a place because it's not overrun, it's not overcrowded, and you have the ability to have a little bit of freedom and enjoy it. And the next thing you know, everybody and their mama and their cousins move in, and now you're in traffic. People are on top of each other. You got to stand in line at Publix or Walmart for half an hour. It pisses people off.
I'm not going to lie. Like being back here.
Oh, God, I hate it.
I
hate it. I love the family, but man, I hate being back here.
I would hate to live here.
I would hate it.
Like everything that's growing up around us, obviously it would have probably aided in continuously increasing the value of our property.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
At what cost?
It's the cost of your sanity. It's the cost of your commute being 2 hours one way. It's the cost of just not even wanting to leave your home to go to the store because there's going to be traffic, and there's going to be idiots, and there's going to be
so much
road rage, and there's going to be it is awful.
And you don't realize, and I don't want to say it like, Georgia's awful or bad, but you don't realize the like stark difference in what you've lived your whole life until you take yourself out of it and put yourself somewhere else.
No, we realized it while we were here.
We realized it while we were here, and that's why we're like, we got to go.
We had to
that's
devise
because we would
strategies.
take those trips and get away from it for a while.
We had to devise strategies on time.
Oh, it's a butterfly. It's like, what's happening?
On the route.
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's longer to go this way, but it's quicker.
It's quicker because there's less people.
Or it's longer. It's not quicker, but you don't bang your head against the wall because you're sitting there bumper to bumper traffic.
Or you're getting to drive through back roads that have trees instead of concrete cities with just buildings and whatnots.
Homeowners are facing insurance premiums that have tripled in the past 5 years, with the average cost now exceeding $4,200 annually, significantly higher than the national average of $1,700.
Massive.
In extreme cases, premiums for multi-million-dollar homes have reached as high as $600,000 per year. This dramatic increase is attributed to a 40% rise in construction costs since 2017 and excessive litigation in the state.
So here's what's interesting to me is that math, 4,200, I think you said, versus like 1,700 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you got to think that the more we keep seeing these tornadoes go through, the more floods we keep seeing, the more droughts you see, you're going to see other areas that you would not expect to have such high premiums end up in the same boat because of damage to the homes from whatever's going through that part.
No, I mean, they're definitely going to weight it. It's like, yeah, you don't live in Florida, but State Farm has a heavy concentration in Florida. Mm-hmm. So we're going to raise the insurance premiums all across the country to help supplement Florida. Yeah. Help supplement California, help supplement Hawaii.
And people in Iowa and Idaho are like, the hell am I paying for you Florida people for? Pay your own stuff.
The situation is so dire that some homeowners are choosing to go without insurance, a risky decision given the potential for natural disasters like hurricanes. This lack of insurance coverage raises concerns about the consequences of major disasters striking the state.
But you have to think about it this way also. The people who are opting to go without insurance, it's actually even harder for them, or trickier for them, because that means their home is paid off or they don't have a mortgage. Because in order to have a mortgage, you have to have insurance. So at that point, you've put all that time and money into a home, and then you don't have insurance and something does happen, and you've literally spent, because you don't buy a home for $500,000 and only pay $500,000. You've paid interest for 15-year fixed loan, 30-year fixed loan, and so you've paid like $1.5 million by the time it's all said and done, because interest is a biatch.
Because it's like one of your strongest wealth building tools is becoming your biggest liability, because at any given moment you could lose it all. Mm-hmm. And not only could you lose it, you could see so much damage that you'd have to make the choice of walking away from this and not getting anything really, or pouring more money into it to repair it. And maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. Maybe next year another hurricane comes through and wipes it out. So it's kind of like cars. And I would always have this struggle. And perhaps maybe this is why I make certain decisions on cars, but it's like at a certain point you have to decide, is it worth paying the exorbitant amount for full coverage to cover a car that if totaled, I'd get $2,000 or $3,000, maybe $4,000 back from? Or do I not go full coverage, only do liability, still have the out-of-pocket expense every month, but if something happens that's my fault theoretically, or whoever else didn't have insurance, I'm going to lose that $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. Or do I keep a more expensive vehicle that retains higher value, where my insurance premium seems more worth it?
It's a tricky situation to be in. Now, if you own a home, like you own it outright, but then you rent it out to people, how do the renters know if you have insurance or not?
If you own a home and you rent it out to people and you don't have homeowners insurance, you're a complete fucking idiot.
That's what I was going to say. I just want to make sure.
Sorry.
I just want to make sure.
I
just want to make sure. But I was thinking for the renters, not even the owners. I was thinking for the renters if something happens.
Renters can have renters insurance.
But will that'll only cover their things. It won't cover where they're living.
Who cares?
Because then you're homeless.
You rent somewhere else. Like, who cares?
That's true.
As insurance premiums continue to rise and the state government deliberates over solutions to the withdrawal of major insurers from the market, more Floridians are expected to forego home insurance coverage. This ongoing issue poses a significant challenge to residents, affecting their decisions on insurance and potentially leading to more relocations out of the state.
Also, in my opinion, leads to more people wanting to rent versus own.
Well,
We pay $12 a month in rental insurance. I mean, yeah.
let me pose a different question to you.
Okay.
How many other states are experiencing issues with insurance companies wanting to flee the state?
California. State Farm pulled out of California.
How many other states are experiencing record high premium increases year over year?
That part I'm not 100% sure of.
California is an outlier. California can almost, at certain times, be its own country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And based on Florida's economy and
They could as well.
balance sheet, Florida could be as well and be, I think, the 6th best economy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a grudge against a particular person and I didn't want them to become president, would I do all I could to make them look bad in ways that I could?
Probably.
Where it's kind of odd that no other state, where obviously there's really no other possible candidate that could potentially take the Republican nomination, they're not having any issues with their insurance. They're not having any issues with their weather. They're not having any issues really highlighting the news day in and day out like Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's all said and done, and Trump is the Republican nominee, and DeSantis isn't the VP, and the ballots are cast, the votes come in, all of a sudden, Florida's problems disappear.
No, not if he's still going after Disney.
That's
I think that has
That's
a lot to
different.
do with it too, though.
That's different. That's a little different. It's a little different. But once all that's done,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, more insurance companies show up. Rates start to change. Like these folks, they are working together. They're lobbying.
Yeah, the corporations run the world.
It's like, I'm not saying that that's it. I'm just saying it's a strange coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next up here, 91% of Florida voters concerned about rising homeowners insurance, according to a recent poll. Also, 59% of states' voters believe personal finances have gotten worse in the past year. The rising cost of homeowners insurance in Florida is causing widespread concern among residents. A recent poll by Signal, a private polling firm, revealed that a significant 91% of Florida voters are worried about escalating homeowners insurance costs. This concern reflects the drastic increases in the cost of living experienced by 9 out of 10 voters in the state over the past 2 years. Now, this doesn't really bother me. I'm aware, I understand, but we're not owners, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
But it does have an influence on the possibility of us becoming owners.
Exactly.
I'm sure it has an influence on our rent as well.
Yeah.
And we chose to rent at a relatively expensive place, but there are certain amenities that we prefer, a lifestyle that we prefer. And who knows? Maybe we never buy in Florida. I don't know. I mean, if prices stay high and insurance stays higher, like
what's the reason? Where's the draw? Where's the?
If you really wanted to sit down and do the math and run the numbers and say, all right, we're going to buy at somewhat of a premium today. We're going to pay through the nose to insure for the next 10 years. Where does that put us in 10 years in comparison to renting?
Yeah. Or even buying anywhere but Florida.
True.
Or California.
Or renting, where some Floridian homeowners subsidize our living expenses because no one wants to buy, but at least we'll rent to reduce their out-of-pocket costs and prevent them from going into foreclosure.
Yep.
Florida voters are worried about escalating homeowners insurance costs. The concern reflects the drastic increases in the cost of living experienced by 9 out of 10 voters in the state over the past 2 years. Residents like Cheney Smith from West Palm Beach have personally felt the impact, with her insurance premiums rising to over $5,000 from previous year's rates of $1,000 or $2,000. And this situation is not isolated, as many South Floridians are grappling with similar burdens.
They're going to turn all of South Florida into tourists only. You're not going to be able to live there.
The worst part is, like, it went up and you never had a claim.
Yeah, you never had a claim, but because Joe Schmo 5 blocks over had a flood.
And then you're thinking to yourself, I could have had a claim, but I chose to fix it myself, to not pay the deductible and not raise my insurance, only to find out that my insurance raised anyway and I did nothing wrong. I just happen to live here.
That will always, always, always bother me. You pay insurance on your car, your home, your health, your everything, and the second you need to use it, they raise your rates afterwards. It's like, but I paid all this money this whole time. How does that not cover me for what I'm doing right now? Explain to me how I've been paying car insurance since I was 16, and at 42 or 41, like let's say next year something happens, 42, there's like something. Why in the hell would you raise my rates after it when I've been paying you for literally half my life or more?
I mean, if they could incentivize policyholders to get some sort of return, maybe that could help. But I also think that it comes down to knowledge and education. A lot of folks don't have it. So when there is a natural disaster, a state of emergency, and the storm chasers show up knocking on your door, telling you all the great things they're going to do for you, waiting to bend your insurance company over backwards, pants down, just no lube, then they don't realize like, oh wait, there's consequences, you know, of these implications. And here we are today.
I think having to have insurance for some people is not worth it because
pretty soon,
I'd rather save my own money and use it when I need it.
Pretty soon, Florida insurance is going to say, they've already excluded flood.
Yeah.
So if you want flood, you got to get a separate carrier, separate rider.
Which before you had to have flood. Like that was a thing.
Then they're going to exclude roofs.
Oh yeah.
They're going to exclude roofs. Like, yeah, you have insurance, but what could potentially cost anywhere from 20 to maybe 50,000 or more with a claim, we're not going to cover that.
What are they going to cover in the future? What do you think? What do you think they're going to cover? If a bird heavily poops on your siding and you have to replace a board or repaint, that's about it. Nothing else will be covered under insurance, but you still. And then
there's certain areas in Florida where you would want flood insurance, but you can't get it because of some legal cutoff date.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't understand it. It's because you're in some sort of like natural federal land area, and you're near water, potentially a flood hazard, but you can't get it.
Make any of it make sense. That's the problem. There's no rhyme or reason, and there's nothing to make it understandable.
Additionally, the poll found that 59% of voters believe their personal finances have deteriorated compared to a year ago, with a growing number of people concerned about home insurance rates. Stacy Giulanti, co-founder of Florida Peninsula Insurance Company in Boca Raton, acknowledges this crisis. His company has absorbed about 60,000 citizens' insurance policies as the state-run insurer dropped nearly 200,000 policies.
You got to think about this. The state-run insurance, once State Farm leaves and everybody else leaves and you have to rely on Citizens, if something happens and we all have to go to Citizens, then you've bankrupted the one place left in Florida, and you've hurt the state.
Citizens already doesn't have enough cash reserves, liquid cash available on their balance sheet to cover all the policies that they have if there were a catastrophic claim. They don't have it.
Yeah.
They're just the insurer of last resort. However, if you have Citizens and you're presented with another insurance provider, you have to accept it if it falls within a certain range.
Oh, wow.
Which may not be less than Citizens, but as long as it's not 10% more, I think that's the number. Additionally, Citizens only covers homes up to somewhere sub 700,000. So most of the people in Florida aren't going to qualify for Citizens based on how high home values have increased year over year. We
were talking about Citizens, and you said it was the
insurer of last resort.
Last resort. My brain started thinking of Shaq and those commercials with something General now. The General. That feels like the insurance of last resort, just based off the visuals in the commercials.
I highly doubt that any of Shaq's custom-built Dodge Chargers have insurance by the General.
And I doubt he wears his shoes that he sells at Walmart. But I do like the fact that he helps people find cheaper options for things. Shaq's a cool dude.
Giulanti points to various factors contributing to this crisis, including rising costs of construction materials, labor, and roofing, as well as increased litigation costs. These factors combine to significantly drive up insurance prices. The insurance is also gaining political traction. U.S. Representative Maxwell Frost, a Democrat from Orlando, recently called on Governor Ron DeSantis to seek real solutions to the property insurance problem. Although DeSantis' office has not responded to requests for comment, He recently signed the My Safe Florida Home legislation aimed at reducing premiums. Yeah, welcome back to Georgia. You get bugs crawling on you. And overall, the escalating cost of homeowners insurance in Florida is a major concern for residents, impacting their personal finances and becoming a significant political issue. So if you live in Florida and you are experiencing financial hardship, potentially as a added result of insurance, because it's not just that, it's probably a variety of factors that are impacting your overall budget and cost of living, and you want to talk money, hit me up. This is not a pitch for me to tell you to start a YouTube channel, because it's not what I'm doing. Do not start a YouTube channel. Next up, pressure mounts on DeSantis as Florida's insurance crisis continues to unfold. But clarify that if you have a YouTube channel and you want to see it grow and improve, then maybe we should have a discussion. So, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida is facing increasing pressure to address the state's escalating home insurance crisis. Congressman Maxwell Frost has joined the chorus of voices urging DeSantis to prioritize this issue over his potential presidential ambitions. The urgency stems from a dramatic rise in insurance premiums in Florida, where costs have tripled over the past 5 years, reaching an average of over $4,200 annually, far exceeding the national average. Now, I have no issues, I have no qualms with DeSantis and the choices that he's made, but it's like he dropped everything to send planes over to Israel. Frost has sent a letter to DeSantis requesting a meeting to discuss potential solutions for the financial strain homeowners are experiencing. And this letter includes testimonies from Frost's constituents highlighting personal hardships caused by the insurance crisis. A teacher spoke about delaying retirement due to a $1,000 annual increase in her insurance premium, and a Habitat for Humanity homeowner described the dilemma of choosing between insurance coverage and paying bills after his policy was canceled. What?
I like how you said humanity instead of humanity. Habitat for humanity.
And the issue is not only gaining attention on social media, and actually, I have to point back to number 2 reason as to why you wouldn't want to start a YouTube channel is harassment and trolling. Yeah.
Have you seen my videos? I can't pronounce Kathy. I keep calling her Hochul, but her name is Hochul or Hochul. I don't even know how to say it, but I always butcher it.
And so let's see, the issue is not only getting attention on social media with residents expressing their concerns about rising home and auto insurance rates, but also within the state's political arena. State Senator Tracy Davis has also called on DeSantis to address Florida's insurance problems, noting the governor's presidential aspirations, but emphasizing the immediate need of the state. Overall, the situation underscores the need for swift action from Governor DeSantis to tackle Florida's deepening insurance crisis, which is impacting the financial stability and well-being of numerous residents.
I do feel like DeSantis, unfortunately, is so focused on 2024 that he has forgotten to focus on Florida itself in the process. And if he does not get what he wants in 2024, he's going to have a really hard time fixing what he's forgotten about with Florida.
It could be like almost any other political campaign. You say what you want, you convince people of something. Depending on what you get, you go back on it and pretend like it never happened.
Build back better?
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
In order to build back, you got to destroy it first.
People will be upset and be like, well, you promised this, you said that, we didn't get it. You're not going to get my vote again. Okay, see you again in 4 years. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. And then later, in 3.5 years, they'll start telling you all the things that they promised you again. It's like people have a short attention span. They have a short attention span. They want immediate gratification. So what if the last 3.5, 4 years of your life were terrible? Let me tell you exactly right now how I can make it better overnight. If
you vote for me. Well, bruh, if you knew how to make it better, why didn't you just do it? Why does it hinge on my vote?
Hey, I got my own concerns about Trump, how he says that he can prevent war and he knows all the players if he's president.
So why not help the country without being president? Like, if you can do it, why do you have to be in a certain power to do it?
But does that say something about him, or does it say something more about the people? Whereas if he were to do it beforehand, would they then give him what he wants? But he also says that This is a request by the world leaders to put him in office, as he cannot do it if he isn't in that seat in the Oval Office. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Either way. Hey guys, like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Links in the description down below. Check us out on Patreon, or more so Scroll Tribe on Patreon. Show your support. Don't forget, get free stocks from Mumu and other valuable connections down there as well. Buy me a coffee. Let's chat if you want to talk about YouTube. Starting a YouTube channel, growing subscribers, AdSense, monetization, increasing your income, diversifying your income, side hustle income, passive income. And it is still Thursday. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And if you're watching this later, it was Thanksgiving yesterday or whatever day.
Whatever day you're watching
to watch it. And until next time, we will see you guys soon.
Deuces.